Zabranjeno Pušenje. Zabranjeno Pušenje transl. No Smoking is a Bosnian rock band formed in Sarajevo in 1980. The group's musical style primarily consists of a distinctive garage rock sound with folk influences, often featuring innovative production and complex storytelling. Currently, the band consists of founding member, vocalist and guitarist Sejo Sexon, longtime drummer Branko Trajkov, guitarist Toni Lović, bassist Dejan Orešković, and violinist. The band was formed contrary to the then prevalent Yugoslav punk rock and new wave, closely associated with the new Primitivism cultural movement and the radio and television satire and sketch comedy show Top Lista Lista. They were one of the most popular musical acts of the 1980s in Yugoslavia, selling hundreds of thousands of records. Many times they got in trouble with the authorities for their, usually mild and sympathetic, criticism of the socialist system, and during 1992, the band split followed the Bosnian War. Nele Karajlić continued working in Belgrade under the names Nele Karajlić and Zabranjeno Pušenje and Emir Kusturica, and the No Smoking Orchestra, while Sejo Sexon and other members rejoined in Sarajevo, using the original name. Continuing the band's career, released the fifth studio album Filzen Viska 1997 with the changed lineup. History. Background. What would eventually become Zabranjeno Pušenje was started in 1979 by 16-year-old Nele Jankovic, later to become known as Dr. Nele Karajlić, and 18-year-old Davor Susic, later Mr. Sejo Sexon, two teenage friends and neighbors who attended Sarajevo's Second Gymnasium Secondary School and lived in the same apartment building on Fuad Midzik Street in the Sarajevo neighborhood of Kosovo. Already infatuated with and deeply immersed in rock and roll, the two fanatics. 1980-1983, early years. In fall 1980, in accordance with the newly passed law in Yugoslavia requiring high school graduates to immediately serve their compulsory military service, the Yugoslav People's Army, 19-year-old Sexon had to report to the army, which meant being away from Sarajevo and the band for a whole year. With Sexon temporarily gone, the band got a new member, Mustafa Čengić aka Musi or Mujo Snazni, who brought in Mladen Mitić aka Munja or Mitić on bass. Their first recording, song Penzionieri na More I Do Zimi transl, Retirees Take Their Vacation in Winter, was made for Radio Sarajevo in early 1981. From May 1981, Karajlić and occasionally a few other band members became additionally involved with the Top Lista Lista radio segment, which aired weekly as part of the Primus program on Radio Sarajevo's Channel 2. Penzionieri na More I Do Zimi began to get some modest airplay on Radio Sarajevo. 1984-1989. Breakthrough and rising fame in Yugoslavia. The band performed around Sarajevo for 2 years before beginning to record material for a debut album during fall 1983 in producer a modest studio owned by Faris Arapović. The shambolic recording process took 7 months before the album named Das ist Walter got released by Jugoton in April 1984 in the small print of 3,000 copies, clearly indicative of the label's extremely low commercial expectations. The lineup was altered, and now Nele Karajlić, 1990–1995, band split and transitional period. Nele Karajlić and Sejo Sexon, the band's leading duo, were getting on increasingly colder terms, and the Yugoslavia-wide tour with Bombaj Stampa and Top Lista Nadrealista during early 1990, though hugely commercially successful, only exacerbated their fractured business and personal relationship. The band broke up in late summer 1990 when Sejo Sexon informed Karajlić about no longer being interested in playing with him. 1996–2001 New beginnings in the post-Yugoslav era. In 1996, Sejo Sexon and Elvis J. Kurovic, accompanied with members of the Top Lista Nadrealista pit orchestra such as Sejo Kovo, Danny Pervan, Dusan Viranik, and Samir Seramida, had become the core of the renewed band's lineup. In 2001, the band members took a part in a social responsibility project in which they organized music workshops for children and youth who were victims of land mines. The project was supported by embassies of Canada, Norway, and the U.S. in Zagreb. 2002–2011 continued success. In 2002, the band went on the North American tour. On May 26, they had recorded the band's second live album at the Casa Loma Ballroom in St. Louis, Missouri. In 2004, the band released Live in St. Louis. In a short period without guitarists and violinists, Sejo Sexon, Trajkov, and Bobic began the writing and formation on sketches of something that will evolve in 3 years to the double full-length studio album. In a short period of time, violinist Robert Boldižar and guitarist Toni Lović joined in. Boldižar was touring musician in 1997, while the band's violinist Erlich was on leave to Paris, France. The new lineup immediately began. Although the concert tour was truly enviable as in the time before, the period after the 2006 album release, next to the Australian tour, and the concerts in Paris and London, brought 2 great disappointments to the band: cancellations of the significant concerts in Belgrade and Sarajevo. At the first, there was a cancellation of the Sarajevo concert as a result of the voracity of the Sarajevo Film Festival Board, who managed to redirect the concert's sponsorships to the festival. 2012 present 10th studio album, and recent years In 2012, Sejo Sexon and Toni Lović entered the studio to begin writing for their 10th studio album. On October 10, 2013, Radovi na Cesti transl, Road Work, was released through Croatia Records and Dallas Records. the album was met with mostly positive reviews from the critics. The record produced 6 singles: Bosco I Admira, Ty Volis Sapunis, Tri Kyle, Tri Gadin, Utivoj Ime Klasa Optimist. On December 28, 2013, Sejo Sexon and Zabranjeno Pušenje celebrated 30th anniversary of the band with their fans on a concert in Skendirija, Sarajevo. In January 2016, saxophonist and flautist Lana Iskayar-Gatic joined the band. As a new band member, she appeared for the first time in the 2016 music video for the 5th Radovi na Cesti single Klasa Optimist. Keyboardist Paul Kempf left the band in early musical style. In the early 1980s, when the rest of the Yugoslav popular music scene followed the trends in Europe of the early 1980s, chiefly punk rock and new wave, Zabranjeno Pušenje were part of a unique rock movement centered in Sarajevo that forged its own path. This movement, for the most part, centered on simple members. Current: Davor Susic aka Sejo Sexon guitar, lead vocals, backing vocals 1980-1990, 1995 present. Branko Trajkov aka track drums, percussion, acoustic guitar, backing vocals 1996 present. Toni Lović electric guitar, acoustic guitar 2004 present. Robert Boldižar violin, keyboards, backing vocals 2004 present. Dejan Orešković aka Klo bass 2008 present. Source: Zabranjeno Pušenje. Former. Timeline. Awards and nominations. Discography. Studio albums: Bassist Walter 1984, Tak Sekast Saba Sosejtanam 1985, Pozdrav iz Zemlj Safari 1987, Male Price o Velikoj Ljubavi 1989, Filzen Viska 1997, Agent Tajni Sil 1999, Bob Vozi Mercedes 2001, Hodi da Taj Siko Nesto da 2006, Musij Revolucije 2009, Radovi na Cesti 2013, Sakai Nevjerika 2018.